What's going on, YouTube? Back with another video. As you can see from the title, most likely it says this is my first vacation in almost 10 years, which is true. It ain't no clickbait or nothing like that. I was scanning it through my head before I officially made the video, and as some of y'all might know, I started out with Schneider. My trucking career. I stayed with them like I think a year and maybe 2 months, year and 3 months. I started in October, November, December, January, February. Probably, let me see, so maybe 16 months. I don't remember what kind of vacation time they had. So I don't know if it's like after a year you get like 3 days, something like that. It wasn't no week. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming it was probably like maybe a day or 2, 3 days, something, not fair. After that, usually jobs give you vacation after a year. After Schneider, I wasn't able to stay at the job longer than a year because either pay, mistreatment, favoritism, all that, After I left Schneider, I went to WM Dewey in Houston. Learned flatbed, hauling pipes. I did that for like 7 months. Reason why I couldn't stay at that job, was because I lived too far. I was staying on the north side of Houston in Acres Home. I didn't have a car at that time, so I was Ubering from Acres Home to McCarty. And after you pick up a load on a certain day, you have to be to the rig by a certain time. And if you work that Dewey, you'll know how they run. They get up, guys get up at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to be the first one at the rig. If they got the right type of pipe. But that's another story for another time. After Dewey, I went to the oil field, work at FDS. I don't know if they still open anymore. I went to FDS. I don't know how long I stayed there, but I know it wasn't a year, maybe 10 months, maybe. After FDS, I went to night transportation. I most likely went there a year. After night transportation, I went to TMC. I wasn't there for a year. After TMC, then it started going to jobs with no benefits. So after TMC, I went to work with my uncle. After my uncle, I went to work for this company, one of my second favorite companies, doing truck driving after this one. All-Star Freight, working for a guy named Lewis. I still see his trucks every now and again. He was a good dude, made some real good money. Probably like last week I was looking at one of my checks. The highest check I made there during COVID time was like $3,500 in 1 week I made, before the rates started going down. After that, I stayed there probably like over a year, but like I said, it wasn't no benefits. But I was able to I'll stay out the same thing I do now. I'll stay out like a month, because I was making make some good money a week. So I'll stay out a month, and he'll let me stay home a week. If you go on probably Craigslist or wherever he posts his job listings, now you got to stay out 3 weeks to get 2 days at home. So things done changed since I've been there. After the All-Star, I went to another company that I'm not gonna mention. I think I signed like some paperwork for a media thing, so I don't think I'm gonna say, because I didn't read the thing. That's my fault. But I know it's something with media, because this guy advertises on Facebook. So I don't want to say nothing bad or good about that person's company. But I worked there. The company's on Mesa. I'll say that maybe. The company was on Mesa. I worked there. After that, I got tired of flatbed and the pay not being right, doing a lot of work and not being paid an adequate amount of money. I didn't want to go back to dry van. Didn't know nothing about reefer, so I decided to get my tanker and my hazmat. After that, I went to Grondike. Didn't stay there a year. It was almost a year, but I didn't get to use the benefits. So went there and I came here to this company. The same day I left there, the same day I got this job. And in February, I'll be here 2 years. You know, after a year, you get your week paid vacation, which I'll be taking probably in the next 3 days. So I'm finna pick my load up here in Chicago, take it down to Bronzeville, then come back to Houston and take my 2-week vacation paid. You know what I'm saying? I get 5 days off, but I set up my vacation. I lined it up perfectly so I can take my 5 days and my week off at the same time. I say 2 weeks because I'll be going home for Christmas. Then I'll take off on Christmas and make my way straight back to Houston. So that's basically 2 weeks at home, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might say something different. Like, I really ain't 2 weeks at home, but it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? My plan is still to go local. You know, I talked to my wife about this. We talked about this last night. You know, I hit a goal. I hit a goal of mine. Yesterday I looked at my check stub. I hit a goal of mine. You know, so it's like, okay, now it's time to hit another level, which I said in other videos. But I ain't finna keep rambling. But yeah, so I'm finna enjoy my paid vacation after almost 10 years. You know, I haven't had no vacation besides, you know, being in between jobs. You know, I'll take like a week off to get my head right, but that wasn't paid and it wasn't really a vacation. It was just, you wasn't working. So, but yeah, if you made it this far, which I doubt you have, please consider like, comment, subscribing. Hopefully the audio good. I got the windows down. It's 42 degrees right here in Chicago. You know, I got the heater on, and it's not really that cold outside, so I'm enjoying the little breeze. If you made it this far, which I doubt you have, please consider like, comment, subscribing. When was the last time you had a vacation? Peace.